Me. Well, welcome back to Hopeful Community for Justice. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett, and I just let you know, all you people out there in TV land, that we're ready to go a few more rounds, trying to bring people to justice and trying to make people's lives better and trying to make people understand that Hopeful Community for Justice is there for you. Is there to help you help yourself, bring people to justice, or issues that you may have. I've talked to a lot of people that live in apartments that always complaining about they're trying to kick me out of my apartment, they're trying to put me out. Women, and lots of women and lots of men trying to put me out, and they're doing discriminatory practices. And you be saying you're gonna come on the show and talk, but obviously you're not sincere, because the time is now to do that on a Sunday. I'm live every Sunday from 4 to 5, and be there by 3. Be here by 3 and be able to get your name in the CG. So the whole issue is that people make all these obligations, but yet and still, it's so sad the kind of fear that people harbor, unbeknownst to themselves and unbeknownst to me, until the time comes to come up and speak up for yourself and tell it like it is. So I'm telling you people out there again in TV land, that is so very important that when you make an obligation, fulfill your obligation to yourself. If anybody else, but to yourself, fulfill your obligation. Believe me that when you speak on the issue that you speak on are things that other people are suffering the same things, the same plight. And when you think it's just you by yourself, believe me, it's not. Generally, when one person speaks to an issue, believe me, thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people are faced with the same issue. So I'm just saying to you people from my heart, please come and speak your voice. Especially you African Americans, you're the ones that mostly be wanting to cry and boohoo to me about what's going on. And then when it comes to nerve, there's no nerve to be found. And it's very, very sad, because when it comes to things such as the election and other things, I hope that you do have the gumption and the heart to go out and vote your heart and do what's right, and not just be laid back saying, well, I voted last year or the last 4 years ago now, and now you're just on cruise control. You got to get out there and vote and do the right thing, because it's important to do the right thing, to get your vote in and do what's right. And that's very, very important. So most of you people doing the countdown about how negative they are trying to make statements toward Obama and things of this nature. But he's only had about 4 years in office. I'm not trying to campaign for him or anything of this nature, but I'm just saying that, just like myself, as African American, when you're trying to make something happen, it takes a long time, and it takes more than 4 years. In my case, I've been fighting illegal convictions for over 18 years. People can play slow roll on you every time, and that's why when I talk about my case or issues pertaining to me, I'm trying to teach children, especially Black African American children, look, don't be stuck on stupid or acting like it's gonna get greater later. It don't get greater later. Life is what you make happen. It's what you make it, and not what someone else tell you. Like the economy is bad, so you just buy into the conversation. Oh, the economy is bad. The economy is bad because you have sat on your behind and went along to get along, and that's not the way to do it. In my case, I created my own companies and businesses because I wasn't waiting for it to get better. It didn't get better during slavery. It didn't get better after slavery. It didn't get better now in 2012. And if you want a job, you want to go to jail, you got a job working in the kitchen, the laundry, all those other places. But I'm talking about real jobs. And then you people out there that get real jobs that could teach people how to acquire a real job. You're doing everything to just keep it to yourself, keep secrets to yourself, and that's everybody. And I'm just saying it's very sad because, like I'm saying, with Pofor Community for Justice, I'm inviting people to come in. If you want to learn about the TV or how to do television, we got some very, very articulate individuals, very sharp individuals, including myself, that know this information and can share it with you. And you can come on the shows after you take classes and practice and sharpen yourself up to be able to run this equipment. And then you'll be able to go out in yourselves and get on these big TV stations or radio stations, whatever you want to. The avenues are available to you to get your message out there, or whatever your heart desired to pursue. I'm going to go and show some stuff on my animal right quick to show you right quick about what I'm trying to do. It's my illegal conviction, and I was at the federal level right here, and they denied my certificate of appealability, and so I went to, I'm going to go ahead and take it to the level of Rio. And that's the next step, that you're trying to make it clear that your corrupt judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys in your case railroaded you and played you out of pocket and broke the law, and you're trying to bring them to justice, because the attorneys, when you get them, you're trying to state your issues, but they're only wanting to talk about what they want to talk about, but in representation of you. You'll never get nowhere like that. And then when I do my own pro se briefs, they try to skirt them or get around them, but I still have records of the truth and proof that would favor me, And that's what's going on today, and that's what's going on with many people, and especially African Americans. You guys just bow your head down like, well, what can I do? And many people, poor people, period, they go for the same thing, and that's of all races, ethnicities, thinking, well, what can you do? What you do is that you play to win and you win. Even though I'm not winning according to their paperwork, technically, when I'm calling these judges and prosecutors the things that I'm called tramps and bums and things of this nature, I'm inspiring people to get more nerve to stand up. When I was in prison, I was helping people to fight cases, helping people to stand up for themselves that were just sitting in jail, just withering away on the vine. And then when they see me going to the library and doing all my legal work, then they started becoming more curiously interested. And many people beat cases or had their cases readdressed and got issues resolved. I speak so hard on these people that when people have wronged me or done things to me, that it's very difficult for them to discredit what I'm saying because they're lying, and I've caught them lying. And you can't. The more you lie, the bigger the lie is still the same. So I've done that. I've caught people lying. I've caught people breaking the law, violating my rights. And this is just one document showing them where the certificate of appealability, they denied that. There's another deal that they're talking about is that when I'm trying to let them know what I'm going to go ahead and go to Etcetera to let them know I'm going to pursue my case anyway, and who all worked on my case. And this is just information to let you people know it's very involved. I've been fighting this case over 18 years, and you'll continue to do that. And if we could have got a picture of me in that corner there, that would have been fine too. But this is just to let you know that it's an interesting saga when you're trying to prove your innocence and people are breaking the law, denying your rights, and doing all the things that are not correct and just. And so we can just go back to me on the TV. So that's what's going on when I'm trying to bring these people to justice. Very important that and to show you why people take 18 years or longer, because nobody wants to go to jail. Because I'm saying, look, I'm suing you for $16 billion. I made my line in the sand, and I'm after you. And then the thing about it, one thing about that's very important for people to understand: when you've been illegally convicted, there's no statute of limitations on that. Clarence Thomas made that very clear, and many people know that. So when I'm saying Ron Fishbeck, that crook had lied and manufactured false evidence against me, but no one wants to address that issue. And Kuykendall and Michael Kuykendall and Judge Burke, Richard Burke, who's long passed, but the evidence is there because I've saved and preserved all my papers. And one day, people will be brought to justice, and that's why when I show you this movie coming up, the Power Hour, they're going to talk about things that when people are lying, and we're talking about President Bush, and it'll be covering a lot of different people. Their information is so raggedy and bogus. And about the 9/11 is that it's so obvious on his face, and most people see and don't see. But as a black African American, when a black man is telling you something, they say, now how can this book say this? We know he lying. We're going to catch him lying through his teeth, but they're not catching me lying through my teeth because I tell it like it is and leave it at your doorstep for you to unravel the truth or come to the reality of dealing with the truth. Because these guys, for the longest, been throwing our children on a Barbie and cooking up lives just to line their pockets. And I'm just saying, there's many people. I've talked about it, Zeitgeist, the movie. Then I'm talking about the Power Hour that I'm going to show you in just a moment. And I want you people to pay attention because I'm going to have myself in a little square trying to make it very clear to you that there's issues and facts that are there before you and that those things can't be concealed. That's why TV is so important. That's why I tell people, you're welcome to come on the TV and talk, because television is what basically overturned the civil rights thing, or made it possible, because people are saying, look, I know that lady and that man and those kids and all those people, and you up there beating them down with clubs, checking the dogs on them and doing all the evil, vicious things, and then you're trying to sell this. That was easy to sell to people when they were listening to it on radio. But when you're actually looking at TV, looking at it right before your very eyes, it's hard for people to disguise unless they're freeze framing shots and trying to say that's what you're supposed to see. And let me give you the dialogue to go with a freeze frame shot. Here, these are things that are actually in motion and taking place as they unfold, and your brain is unfolding with it and deciphering what information is there to be dealt with. So trust me, that this black African American play to win. Pofor Community for Justice is going to be around a long time. So don't think you're going to undermine me by thinking that, well, nobody will want to help him or be a part of his show, or nobody will want to do this, and that. I got many white Americans, black Americans, and many people that have come to my assistance to help poor folk community for justice to move forward. Spanish people of all ethnicity. And generally when I talk about white people, because that's what they've done in life, try to pit white against black. But if you are strong enough and not so bogged down with all these stupid prejudices, you'll find out when God Almighty sends someone to help you, they're there because if they're God sent, they're going to be there to help you help yourself. And they're not going to be trying to decipher what I'm saying as if to become angered by me, because what I'm speaking is from the heart and I'm speaking the truth. And I fear no one but God Almighty. So there's nothing for me to fear but God Almighty. And so all this hocus pocus crap, you live until you die, and if you watch people from the cradle to the grave, and these are the principles that I expect people to start to adopt. And from the cradle to grave, and it don't make a difference if you die of a natural death or violent death. God Almighty got the last say on all that, because when your soul is to be judged, it'll be based on your entire life. And so in that making that statement, I would like to go to that movie that I was talking about regarding that 9/11, the Pentagon, and look at the scam that these clowns are running, to let you know how they're trying to play me out of pocket about me bringing people to justice about these illegal sham truth trials that I've been to. So we'll go to that movie, and it kind of correlates with that. It's all about paying attention. And that's for everybody on the planet. We're all sisters and brothers. Pay attention and quit being so led by the nose by any and everybody.
No pictures whatsoever showing a tail, a nose, a fuselage, wings, engine, wheels, luggage, seats, nothing. There were no photographs showing any recognizable wreckage from a 757. Furthermore, when you look at the size of the hole at the Pentagon, it was approximately 65 feet across, and the height of the Pentagon is approximately 73 feet. From wingtip to wingtip, a 757 is 124 feet 10 inches. From nose to tail, a 757 is 155 feet and 3 inches in length, and the height is 44 feet and 6 inches. However, when you look at the hole at the Pentagon, you'll find that it's only approximately 65 feet across. How does a plane of those dimensions fit into a hole only 65 feet across? Upon further inspection, we found that the damage at the Pentagon was completely and totally inconsistent with the damage of the planes that had hit the World Trade Center. I mean, after all, the planes that hit the Trade Center created a fire so intense that it fatigued the steel and collapsed the buildings, or so that's what we were told. And yet, when you look at the left side of the Pentagon, you'll note that there is very little, if any, smoke damage or heat damage at all. On the third floor, it's very plain to see a file cabinet with a computer monitor. Neither of them are damaged. On the second floor, you can see a wooden desk. It hasn't burned. And on the first floor, a very curious sight indeed, a wooden stool with a book that is laying and open. The pages aren't even singed. Now, each of the planes involved in the September 11th attacks had embarked upon transcontinental flights, which means that they had a majority of their fuel left over when they hit their respective targets. That means that approximately 8,600 remaining gallons of fuel would have been ignited on the 757 that had hit the Pentagon. Again, we look at the photograph and ask ourselves, is the smoke and heat damage consistent with that amount of fuel being ignited? Ms. Therese Sagnier, a certified environmental specialist and a member of the Environmental Assessors Association, sent us the following letter after a brief conversation we had on the telephone. She had said to us that the amount of fuel that would have been left in the aircraft that had hit the Pentagon would basically have reduced that section of the Pentagon to rubble and would have burned for days. And that 8,600 gallons of fuel had a BTU rate of 86 million. She also stated that, looking at the total weight of this aircraft in conjunction with its velocity, the Pentagon should have been reduced to the thickness of a pancake. Also, the fuel spill of 8,600 gallons would have posed a very large soil removal and disposal project, since the contaminated soil would be considered hazardous waste under Title 40 of the Code of Federal Regulations. Another interesting question that is raised is in the photographs of the collapsed area of the Pentagon. If you'll note the upper floor and roof area, it appears that that area simply collapsed and does not show any impact damage from a tail section that was over 43 feet in height. How could a 757 slam into the Pentagon and not have an impact area where the tail section would have